Okay, everyone, it is Saturday, March 21st, 9 a.m. I am back in Geneva, Illinois, at Playhouse 38 to see Dorothy in Wonderland. Later this afternoon, I will be about 10 minutes down the road seeing Alice in Wonderland. So, very exciting that I'm getting to see both of these shows in one day. I'm very early because these kids shows people get here early, and it was a long drive. So I'm gonna hang out for a bit. Doors don't open for it's 9:09. It's not 9 a.m. Show starts at 10. So I'm gonna hang out for a while, film the second part of this video, and then head in and get my seat. So once again, in a hurry, busy, always busy. But we got to talk about Dorothy in Wonderland. As my cat hits the tripod. I would have expected... They don't show the image that I'm thinking of. One moment. Okay, well, it turns out I'm wrong. I thought in one of the older programs they used a different image. So either I'm making things up, or I'm mixing the promotional material with just pictures I've seen online of Alice and Dorothy together. But Dorothy in Wonderland, I expected this story to be a sequel to both, right? Dorothy, after having her adventure in Oz, after returning to Kansas, going to Wonderland, meeting Alice either before or after, but I would have assumed that Alice would have already had her adventure in Wonderland and was going back for a second time. Why is my face so red? I think it's the lighting. I don't know what that's about. So that's kind of what I was expecting with this. It opens up with Dorothy still in Oz. It's the end of the Wizard of Oz. The wizard's in the balloon. The lion and the Tin Man and the Scarecrow have gotten their gifts, but Dorothy wants to go home. But because Dorothy runs to chase after Toto, the wizard leaves without her. And then by chance, a tornado comes along and sweeps up Dorothy and the Tin Man and Scarecrow and the lion, and possibly some other Ozian characters, and takes them to Wonderland. And basically, Dorothy goes through the same story of the classic Alice in Wonderland story. She falls after the tornado. They don't do the river of the ocean of tears. I forget if they did the door that she was too big for and that she got too small. I don't remember if they did that or not. They did something with changing size, but I don't remember exactly what it was. I don't think they did the caucus race, because that comes after the Ocean of Tears. So I think her first interaction is with the flowers and the caterpillar. And so basically from that point on, it's basically just the Alice in Wonderland story, but with Dorothy instead of Alice. There's a little bit more going on. The Tin Man meets Humpty Dumpty, who falls and breaks into a bunch of pieces, and the Tin Man is blamed by the cards, or it might be the chess guards, I don't remember, but he's taken to the Queen of Hearts to be beheaded. The lion runs across Alice, who is in Wonderland for the first time. We just find her there. We don't see how she got there, and she is not going through the normal steps of her classic story. Dorothy is. But they kind of split up who does what. So I think... I can't remember which one of them goes to see the Mad Hatter and the March Hare and the Dormouse. But they, we kind of hit the main beats of Alice in Wonderland, but sometimes it's Dorothy, and sometimes it's Alice. Tweedledee and Tweedledum are there. Um, we get the Queen's Garden with Painting the Roses Red. This is not a musical. It's just a play. Not just a play, but there's no songs that they're singing. But a lot of characters, a lot of it's Alice in Wonderland. A lot of stuff happens. It's not really a plot-driven summary. There is a White Rabbit who was in Oz. Maybe he wasn't in Oz before the tornado. I can't remember when he first showed up. He might have been the first thing they saw in Wonderland. So we do have the White Rabbit running about, but like she doesn't get stuck in his house and all that stuff. There are 3 actors that play the Cheshire Cat, so that one can disappear this way and then another can appear over here this other way. They do some stuff with that. I'm trying to... I saw both this and then Alice in Wonderland Jr. within a couple hours of each other, so they're kind of blending together. But point is, I'm supposed to be making this short. It's basically Alice in Wonderland with Dorothy in Alice's place for a lot of it. The lion kind of teams up with Alice. I think, yes, they are the ones that go... No, the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow is the one that finds the March Hare and the Mad Hatter, because he asks... I don't even think he asks them, but they decide to help him look for Dorothy, but the Mad Hatter is looking for other girls that don't exist. And he's like, why are you looking for them? And because they might help us find Dorothy, right? It's the Mad Hatter. And one of the names that he has made up, Alice is using as an alias, because the Queen is looking for Alice, because the Knave of Hearts has framed her for eating the Queen's tarts. So when they finally meet each other, Alice introduces herself as Beatrice. And so the Mad Hatter, that's one of the names he's been calling. He's like, oh my goodness, we finally found you. And I think by that point, Alice is with Dorothy. And so then it's like, oh, Beatrice did help us find Dorothy. But then he's sad when they find Dorothy, because now they won't find the other 2 girls that he was looking for. So then we get to the Queen's Garden. We have the croquet game with the flamingo, with the hedgehogs. But then at the end, I can't remember. Yeah, there is a trial. The Scarecrow is Alice's lawyer or defense attorney. But instead of the normal, typical Wonderland ending, Glinda shows up, who was in one prior scene. I don't remember who she met. She might have met Alice. Yeah, she met Alice while she was looking for Dorothy. So Glinda comes in and basically sends everyone to where they need to go, and we get a happy ending. So that's Dorothy in Wonderland. It's cute. It's fun. It's interesting. I'm pretty familiar with both Oz and Wonderland, and by that I mean I've seen like the major movie versions that most people know. I've read the books. I've seen remakes and modern interpretations of them. So I feel like I caught most of the references and stuff. I feel like if people aren't super familiar with Wonderland stuff, they might not have got everything. I don't know that they would have been lost, but they might not have understood everything that was going on. If they didn't know all the Oz stuff, they probably still would have been fine, because that's not really driving the plot. The wizard does also end up in Wonderland, but that plot point doesn't really go anywhere. He gives Dorothy an invitation to play croquet with the Queen. So that kind of sets that up, but like it's not necessarily. I think it was just to give that actor more to do. So it's fine. It's just not what I expected. What I expected was a new adventure featuring Dorothy. I didn't expect the other Oz characters to be in it. And Alice and some of the Wonderland characters meeting new characters and going on a new adventure together. They don't team up until about halfway through. But that is cool. Both the actors that played the two lead roles did a really good job. So it was fun. It's an interesting concept. Just not quite what I expected, but I'm not going to hold that against it. A lot of actors in this one. There's a lot of characters, and this venue, at least the two shows that I've seen there now, they don't use mics, and some of those kids were pretty quiet. So I wish they would have spoken up a little bit more, but most of them did fine. I don't think I missed anything major. There was a little detail where before the wizard gave Alice the invitation, he kept like smacking it and he stomped on it at one point and he was like beating it up. And I couldn't figure out if there was a reason for that or if maybe that was like if that actor had some kind of tick or compulsion to do that and that maybe helped him stay focused and say his lines. I don't know. Because his other scene, he was behind a hot air balloon, so like he might have been doing something with his hands back there that I didn't see. So if there was a reason for that, I missed that, but not a big deal. So there's Dorothy in Wonderland, and here's my cat finally. And that's gonna do it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.